Once again, I'm here at the World Blockchain Forum, and I'm here joined with Martin Liberts from Debitum Network, which is a lending platform which is non-operational within the banking sector. They enable local businesses to secure fiat loans from global investors. Investors from any part of the world can join the platform and invest in short-term loans 24/7. They are in London to launch their decentralized SME financing platform, which launched just very, very recently, in fact, which enables local businesses to secure fiat loans from global investors. Debitum Network platform gives users possibility to deposit, invest, and withdraw in both fiat and crypto. DEB tokens are used in their ecosystem to pay for their services. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
What brought you to the blockchain space in the first place?
What brought me into blockchain is that we had a tech company and a finance company, and we wanted to solve financial problems, so financing problems on a more global scale. And we were thinking how to do it, like putting all these experts of ours together. And then on a technical side, guys were really eager about blockchain due to the capabilities of it, due to the trust it gives, transparency it provides, and that we thought, okay, that's exactly the missing link for such lending platform to actually become really like big hit and really trustworthy, really transparent and global, right? So that's how we learned about blockchain, and we decided to take our company, our project on blockchain.
So what I forgot to mention before was that you're from Lithuania. So how has your country embraced blockchain technology? Is it seen as something that's advanced quite a lot? Because we've seen in the likes of Estonia, for instance, they've really taken it on board and, taken it really seriously. So I'm wondering if that's the same thing with you guys.
In Lithuania, recent studies shows that around 90% of population actually knows about Bitcoin or blockchain. So they have heard about it, so they're really informed that it's actually more than any other country in terms of the whole percentage of population. Issue is that only 4% are in blockchain or Bitcoin or any other crypto, so everyone knows about it, but it's not so much in. But when we talk about companies in the field, then I think Lithuania actually is one of top countries in the world in terms of investment in blockchain companies. Through ICO thing and also through other things, and actually it has been such a big boom in 2017-2018 that in terms of investment attracted into blockchain companies, it has stopped through, like, for that 1 year it has stopped, I think, around 20 years of earlier venture capital investment in any tech space at all in Lithuania. So Lithuania is really booming on blockchain.
Why do you think that is?
It's a good question. I think it's because in Lithuania there is no real, like, there's no natural resource that you can really build business or monetize, right? And all we have is like skill, like services and soft skill. Historically, there are quite a lot of good developers and technical people. So I think it's an opportunity. And Lithuanians are quite opportunistic in a positive manner. I think it's the country saw an opportunity that this is something that if we go and be first, we can actually be more and better and bigger, and we can make something huge out of it, like next Google or Facebook or Skype, Estonian one, right? That's always, or next Nokia. So I think that's the reason, because positively opportunistic people saw it as an opportunity to make something big, and there is in reality no real alternative how to achieve the same maybe greatness.
So tell us some more about your company Debitum and why did you set it up?
We actually set it up because of our own experience. We were doing a tech business, and we got refused to get a loan in a traditional manner, and it was for bureaucratic reasons. It was basically we wanted a factoring product, and we didn't get it just because our partner didn't sign a paper or something, and we felt it's really silly, and sad that a working, growing company can't get some financing even if it's like really like not bad. It's good company, right? And we actually took that literally and said, no, we need to change something. And then we started off changing it locally, getting more into finance business. And then a year and a half ago, we thought we need to make it more global. We feel that we want to have a global impact of what we do, and we actually want to help other small companies globally. And then that's how we set up Debitum. And because of that global impact, and because we thought that okay, in financing and lending, trust is very important. And we learned about blockchain. We understood that actually it really provides trust in operations that otherwise would be hard to trust. Say if you lend me and I borrow, you need really to trust me. And if you don't trust me, then blockchain with that objective information, data transparency, data storage from earlier times of my activity, etc., it can give you that objective trust. And so it makes it easier for you to lend to me, to lend me money, for example. So that's how we went into it.
Can you talk about how Debitum works in terms of the technology, the process?
Yeah, sure. So it's on one hand it's borrowers. So small companies that want to borrow, they put up their request for loan, and that loan technically it is a smart contract, that loan, and then there are service providers that provide services on that smart contract. For example, a risk assessor provides risk score. They actually send in information to a smart contract, like this is a risk score. And then when investors invest, they also connect to that smart contract for a loan, making their own contracts with amounts what they invest, and that are cleared when repayment comes. So that's kind of technically we created a system, or we created an interlinked smart contract that help to get it going. So from a borrower, service providers that provide different services to investor.
What's so unique about Debitum over other financial platforms?
A couple of things I think that we bring together. Maybe some parts of them are available, but not in a single thing. So first of all, we think that what we do, we bring it more filter based on risk, etc. More like one click for investor to invest in many assets, and that's quite a big change. Very often those similar things do asset by asset, and it's really tiresome. If you want to invest in 10,000 assets, you'll go crazy doing it, right? And making sure that you are on top of the information and you actually make the choice. Another thing is that it actually, and maybe it's actually the biggest thing, right? It actually uses blockchain, it actually uses some crypto, and it allows crypto investors, it will allow crypto investors to use their crypto for good and to use it for lending to lending fiat to small companies. And I think actually that's a big thing, and that's really huge difference, right? Yeah, there are maybe more smaller ones, but these are two that we think that are really important.
Do you think that companies such as yourself could shake up the banking sector in terms of, not using traditional ways and getting a more decentralized platform?
Mm-hmm. I think that we can. I think that banking will stay where it is, because when you, unless you allow, because banks collect deposits, and in some countries they're like in negative deposits, like in Germany, it's in like actually you have to pay the bank for holding money there. In some countries it's like 0.1% or something. So I think unless that is solved, and that's no how to say, they create or they can collect money from those people that are not looking to get more, and when you do direct investments like we do, in those investments, in those platforms, people that are looking to invest, they're looking for more. So I think that unless we solve that issue and make it so naturally in the all your life, in all your financial life, that going on such platform and giving it for free is like really natural, I think it won't, like, the bank will still stay there. But I think what we actually can disrupt, we can disrupt this, how to say, before bank segment. Because before bank, it's really hard to get. Like, if you're really bankable, it's quite easy to get. Like, if you're a huge corporation, it's easy to get money. Like, for 1% from bank, it's like, it's not a big thing. Maybe not from my experience, it's quite easy. But I think the problem exactly is before bank. If you are not really bankable as a company, for example, you are too small, too young, too risky maybe, something is not so high in terms of banking standards, then I think we can shake that up by bringing this solution, bringing Debitum as a solution. Yes.
In terms of the technology used, do you think this would, because it's open source, obviously being on the blockchain, is it something that developers could use and implement?
You obviously mean other developers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think some parts of it definitely. I think some constructions of smart contracts, so this kind of loan smart contract with repayments, because when we started a year and a half ago, people had this feeling that repayments from smart contracts miraculously happen, and it doesn't matter if there is any funds in the contract or anything, that it just happens, and that's just wrong. So yeah, I think that developers can take those structures and reuse them in their projects. Copying it, everything one-to-one, I think won't work. I mean, because certain blockchain parts are open source, but non-blockchain parts not. So it's possible only to copy and reuse that smart contract parts. And that, yeah, definitely, I think that can be used in other lending cases and other lending scenarios, for example, or just to see how it's solved and maybe solve it for other things. It's possible.
Will blockchain and Debitum, by extension, be sustainable and be able to run in the medium to long term?
I think it's of course a good question, and of course that's kind of say how we look at it. But I think that unless the state of our general structures, of our organizational structures, like political structures and as the way we live, unless it changes, it will just be a technology. Because for blockchain to actually, in long run, to really have that philosophical value, the structures we live by should change, right? So if there is still a government and it is centralized, then what's the reason to put certain institution from that government on a decentralized blockchain, other than having an experiment? If it really doesn't become decentralized, say cadastre or something like land register, if you don't really allow it to become decentralized and say we can make all the deals without government intervention, then it is just a technology and it will not change our life. So I think we can only, in a long term, blockchain can reach its philosophical capability of decentralization, pure and full decentralization, only if the way governments work and the way states work are changed. And I think that not all of us understand that change is needed for blockchain to fully, on a global or on a longer term, to actually be used and get that high peak. Because if some parts are centralized, the blockchain is just a technology that helps someone, but it can't then become a global, like in every place we do. That's how I look at it.
Where do you think we are right now with regards to the blockchain space? Are we still at the ground floor? Is it just still, really, really early days, and it's somewhat hard to speculate where it's going to go next?
I think if it's in 2018, then I think that we are at a testing. We are at a place that is testing, and it will show. I think by the end of the year, maybe early next year, it will show if we go up or down. And why is that? Because there have been so many projects, so many companies created in a blockchain space last year and early 18. And I think if they will deliver, then we will see the benefit, we will see the value, and it will go up. But if all of them, say, or majority of them will fail, then I think this phenomenon might become a very minority, very niche thing. It can't become mainstream if majority of companies just fail on it, right? Similar, or it will take a long time for that to happen. So I think in 18th, early 19th, that's that type of kind of where will we go, and based on how those companies do, it will go up or down.
Can you share your thoughts about cryptocurrencies?
There are many. 2000. I think my thoughts are more that I don't like the term cryptocurrency, because I think for most, at least for what we have now, most of them are actually not currencies, most of them are tokens. And having some technical background, I look at them as any other technical token. So for example, when one system talks to another system and they need to have a single sign-on or something, they have a token, right? One system sends a token and says, this is the user or something like that. So I look at tokens in similar way, that it is a mean of interprobability in a way between different solutions. If you are a solution and I am a solution, say for us to communicate, I will send you, say, your tokens and you will send me my tokens, and that's the way we know that we are legit to communicate. I think all of that technology, it should become more under the hood rather than in front. And I don't think that the world with 200 or 300 currencies in your wallet is a normal world. Look at Europe. Okay, not England obviously, but look at the mainland Europe. That euro was introduced, right? And one of the reasons it was because people were fed up with all the different currencies, because it's so difficult to do exchanges, to travel, to do international business, etc. So I don't think that 2,000 or more currencies in a wallet is normal. I think it should be under the hood, and regular people, users, shouldn't even see what's happening, and all of that should happen under the hood for technical reasons. And maybe one or two can be as a currency or more known, or maybe as a payment method like Bitcoin, for example, or something. But in general, I think it should be hidden.
By proxy, how do you see the future of blockchain in the near future and beyond in terms of a technology that everybody could potentially use?
That's a good question. It's actually it's like by everyone to use. I think about it differently. I think as I am telling everyone, I think no one really cares if it's blockchain or not. I'm a user, I don't really care if a payment, if a wallet, if a solution, if it runs on a blockchain. I care for characteristics that blockchain gives to that solution. So I kind of think, going back, I think the same. I think that here in the blockchain community, we tend to bring blockchain to be more than a technology. That brings to that philosophical blockchain point, but I think that needs a total change of how states are organized and governments are organized. And if that doesn't happen, then I think blockchain is just a really good technology with a lot of really good characteristics, and it should stay just like that. That's how I look at it. And then if that is true, then you can build solutions based on that. You can use that characteristic, like that data can't be changed, for example. Also, data is transparent to everyone and available to everyone, etc., etc. But I think it should still stay as a technology, not as a religion of some kind. If that answers.
It does, yes. Do you have any advice to give to our students watching at all?
Be the first one to try something out. I think going back to why Lithuania has so many companies, right, in blockchain, it's because as soon as the first Lithuanian did a startup, a blockchain startup, I think it was in early 2017, one of the first ICOs in general, Mystery, I think, and Ageless, then many Lithuanian tech people and business people, they saw an opportunity and grabbed it. It was really unknown, but they just grabbed it and went. And I think for students, it is important to do that, to just take an opportunity and run with it, because it's the best time when to do that, right? It may be way harder to do it when you are in like 50s or 60s, and maybe you have 5 mortgages and family and stuff like that. So you need to do it while you still can. So just grab it and run with it.
Sounds good. Any final thoughts to wrap this up?
We should bring this technology as mainstream as possible, and then I think we will not talk about blockchain as a technology, but we will talk about the benefits it brings. And I think that's something that's for me as a businessman in this area and trying to do that. I think that would be like really success on this whole blockchain community, to make it to make others think about the benefits of it and about the use cases rather than technology itself. As with any other technology, it should be for developers to develop, not for people to use. People should use the outcome, the value on top of it, right? Like this microphone. I have no clue how it works, but I use it because it's like nice to use. That's it. So I wish that blockchain becomes like that.
And with that, that was Martin Liberts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.